A civic journey
is your duty within your local community
to engage with your responsibilities
to help and better your area.
There is no end goal and it continues throughout your life.
Walk through the fire, the sound of a lion. I found my way back in the end. Baby, I've fallen for you and the way you make me feel. Don't need to pretend. You got me falling.
I've always felt a sense of community, but sometimes never seen myself represented on film and TV. I've always wanted fairness and equality, but never protested or attended a pride march. Sometimes I feel like no one hears from neurodivergent people. So here is my story. Growing up, people told me that me and other people like me have this disability, but it took so many years of misrepresentation for the media to show some appreciation. Neurodivergent actors playing neurodivergent characters. If we had that representation if I was younger, I would see myself in those characters. For neurodivergent teens just like me, all it took was understanding a voice. Then the stories of neurodivergent people were heard. Companies that claim to speak for us push dangerous rhetoric and ableism. I didn't know about this until I got social media. Then I found a community who had experiences just like me. I never found people with the same experience such as me that I could look up to. All of my role models were neurotypical. So the question is, do we do enough to represent people like me?
I was born and raised in Oldham and have lived here all my life. It wasn't until I experienced the challenges of being a racialised minority among my peers while studying in Manchester, which made me appreciate my local community in Oldham. While Oldham is infamous for being one of the most poverty-stricken towns in England, with deprivation as the backdrop for the majority of us growing up here, often just surviving takes precedence. Though it's true, we are deprived of many things in comparison to other areas. However, one thing that I have never been deprived of is the sense of belonging in my community here in Oldham.
Not necessarily now, but growing up, I came from partly from a Gujarati Indian Gujarati community, as I'm a Gujarati myself, and I moved to Oldham into a community, Bangladeshi community, and there was a language barrier. So whether I would be at school or whether I would just be out in the community, people would speak in their own native language, and it was very difficult for me to understand. So there was that language barrier, and I felt out of place at some points. So that was a bit difficult growing up. However, I was very motivated to learn the language. I'm fluent in Bangla now, and I can understand, also speak, and that makes me feel more part of the community.
Being part of the Bengali community, a lot of the older generations don't know how to speak fluent English, so I've had to learn how to speak fluent Civically, specifically in order to communicate with them, and I've been able to use that in many instances in my life. So I've worked previously as a medical receptionist. There's been many occasions where I've had to interpret for patients, Bengali patients that don't know how to speak fluent English.
Being away from my home in Oldham and the community I grew up in, as a British Bangladeshi and Muslim, I realised how lucky I was for having grown up in an area with people that shared similar norms and values as me. I realised how fortunate I was for having something as simple as accessible cultural and halal food. Growing up with those with similar life experiences to myself and not feeling like a second-class citizen.
We've got a family business, a grocery store, for about 40 years now, and it's been passed down in generations, and there's been many stages within them 40 years where we've gone through difficult times. It's also affected the community as well, not only ourselves. So my granddad and my mother ran our business for many years, and even till this day, the members of the community come into our store and they share memories about them and how much of an important member they were of the community, and they never fail to keep their memory alive.
Still, it's not until age 15 where I feel like my civic journey actually began. At 15, I was more self-aware and had the platform to educate myself on social issues that are significant to me, including global and local solidarities, and the intersections of race, faith and gender. Therefore, given the injustices and oppression taking place in Palestine in 2014, I attended numerous Palestine solidarity campaign protests across Oldham. The atmosphere was incredibly moving, and the consistent turnout from the community made me feel real change was possible. In addition, the momentum led my friends and I wanting to do more to support the cause. So using my friend's family business as a base, we hosted a charity car wash.
We did quite a lot of charity work with a charity called Islamic Relief. So myself, my friends, family members, we wanted to do something about crisis going on in Palestine, and we got together and we planned a charity car wash, and we were only about 15 years old, so I think it was a really good opportunity for us to do a charity event. It's such a big charity event as well. So my store actually had all the resources available at that time. Like, we had the base at the back, we had the jet washes, we had everything to actually carry out a charity car wash, and we had a mascot. And I believe that if these resources weren't available, then we wouldn't have been able to carry out such a good charity event. And we actually managed to raise a lot of money in the end as well.
It was very successful, and the support from the local community was amazing.
To be honest, I've never really felt a connection to the area, because everything was focused around sport. I just sort of played a football match, do the training and then go home. There wasn't really anything community based. It was more like you played a match and then go home. I wish I'd done a lot more creative stuff when I was younger. I was a lot into sports and stuff like that, but I never really did much creative. I made home videos and stuff like that, but not involved really with the community side of it. When I was in high school, I really enjoyed debate club. It gave me a chance to expand my knowledge and talk to people from different backgrounds and learn how they think and how to interact with people who didn't grow up the same as you. There wasn't really opportunities to do with debate club directly, but I think the mental development that joining something like that gives you, that's what helps you in the future more.
When I was young, I did a dancing class called Kirsten's Academy. I loved it. The people from my primary school weren't that good to me, so I stopped going. But I did have a nice journey with the shows I did there. In high school, I started the Scouts. I learned to tie knots, putting up a tent, and I did lots of survival. When I finished, I did my Duke of Edinburgh award. I did lots of walking in the countryside. I got to go to London to get my gold award from Prince Edward. Now I volunteer at a care home near me. It's great because the staff at the home are very kind and friendly. They cheer me up all the time. I'm very lucky to have gone to the high school I am at. I get involved with doing little sketches and all those exciting things.
Growing up, I faced a lot of bullying and a lot of struggle with mental health. I moved schools quite a lot, so things like that were quite often. I've had therapy with schools, they were okay. I've been to Mind, CAMS, and at the minute I'm under Cherrywood.
I didn't really do much. I was quite happy just going home and doing other stuff than being a part of a community. The biggest support in any scenario is always going to be your family, and they're always going to be there for you. And then, as well as that, just old friends, speaking with them and seeing where they're going, because you don't want, because as much as you want to be a part of this new community, you also don't want to separate from the old one.
If I could talk to my younger self, I wish I had got involved with fundraising and charity work much sooner. It helped my confidence and development a lot. Overall, it was a very rewarding experience. Not having the social and economic capital to take action sooner stopped me from taking part. As well as this, being young and feeling it wasn't safe to travel, or having the travel expenses made it quite difficult to take part. If I was talking to my future self, I would take action on community advocacy. There are so many misconceptions and taboos that are prevalent in the South Asian and Muslim community, especially among the older generation. For example, mental health issues. I think through education and campaigns we can start to tackle these issues. I think engaging and communicating with the various ethnic minority communities in Oldham and engaging with faith leaders to discuss the detrimental impact of mental health issues is one way we can take action. Support from the council, organisations and schools to run campaigns. Given that there are many groups who do not speak English fluently, support to translate information in various languages would be needed.
If I was doing it all again, hopefully there'd be more opportunities, but also I'd say yes to more opportunities. We could have like days at the library where a professional could come in and teach the youngers how to play around on computers and just kickstart that creativity.
I think that if I were to talk to my younger self, I would say go outside of your room a bit more. You know, you've got friends, you can do quite a lot with them. I think as well to just get involved, especially with like after school clubs. You don't have to try and do everything, but also do the things that you enjoy. Time is limited and you never know where you're going to end up.
What I would like to say to other young people is just try again. Follow your dreams and do whatever you want to do.